You've got quite a creative shirt right now, actually. Because it's
I
like
forgot.
all sparkly looking.
Yeah, I forgot to turn off my filter here.
Yeah, look, it's like he's Smokey the Bear. Just tucked away in there.
Yeah. Whatever.
There we go.
We are live. That was simple. That was like the fastest it's ever gone live.
Oh, yeah?
I'm so
I haven't even
put my phone on whatchamacallit, do not disturb mode.
Oh, it's okay. Whatever's easiest way for you to talk if you wanted to comment on people. Hey, Tack, how's it going?
Is Tack in there? I haven't even gotten into there yet. I'm slacking.
See Tack. I see Peterborough. Do you know who Peterborough is yet, Eric?
Nope.
He's pretty cool. He's another Canadian, obviously, with Peterborough. We've flown with him once.
Okay.
Hey, Night Train. Hello, Francisco Silva. Hey, Mini-Me FPV from Serbia. That's pretty cool. It's like the farthest anyone's ever watched our show from so far.
It's got to be like 4 a.m.
Yeah, super.
He might be bored. Hey, OBS Quad. Oh, you're from Toronto. That's pretty cool. Let's get all the Canadians in here.
Is that all we're doing? Is waiting for more people?
Yeah,
I can't even find your freaking stream. I don't know why.
Do you follow Quad Chat?
Yeah.
It popped up for me and Rich because I heard Rich's go off in the living room. Yeah, we usually give 4 or 5 minutes for people to get the notification to come in, and then we'll get down to the questions and introducing you and stuff like that. Hey, wow, Jack Fu, how's it going?
Definitely got to turn that down. I don't know why.
Yeah, I have to mute. I mute and pop.
That's like yesterday.
Hey, Quadrophenia.
Oh, me. What's up, dude? 2 a.m. That hurts.
Well,
4 a.m. That hurts too.
I end up playing.
What else are you doing? You gotta get up for work tomorrow?
A lot of people are working.
True.
Who can work?
Very true.
Kat, do you work?
I work from home right now. I'm on my 4th week. Actually, it's weird, but yeah, it's essentially 4 weeks working at home. But the week before that was a transition period because my manager quit. So I was learning my new clients with him, which wasn't really work either. So I'm technically on 4 weeks at home, but 5 weeks without working. It sucks. I miss it. I love my job though. So that's why I miss my clients.
Yeah, I'm a bunch of our clients are essential service things that we do drone work for, so we have to go and do those. But a bunch of them aren't. So we've suffered sort of a massive reduction in revenue.
Oh, I bet.
We can't qualify for any government assistance because we still make some money. So
that's rough, man.
Yeah, in the studio we can't have anybody in. I can do mixing and mastering and remote recording, and so it's me and his name's Mike, my business partner in both operations. So we both have our advanced pilot license, and we started playing in bands 20 years ago together. Mm-hmm. Played for a living, 6 nights a week, bars and clubs, and eventually decided to open a recording studio. So yeah, that's kind of crazy, that auto zoom in and out all the time there.
It is freaking out. It's freaking out. Yeah.
A little too much of a weird POV there.
It's because he's eating, so it's it doesn't know what to focus on, his face or his food.
I'll fix it real quick, huh?
Yeah, I do animal pharmaceuticals, mm-hmm. So I'm considered essential because we're supplying product to the vet clinics.
Right.
But we work from home. Like I said, I don't have to go anywhere, which is nice because I can call the clinics. But so there's Vicious Vice. Well, everyone, welcome to this week's episode of Quad Chat, and welcome to Eric from Drone Services Canada, who is our guest. You were just kind of, I was like, it's the other way. It's always opposite.
Yeah, but if I do the opposite thing, then the letters are backwards.
So Eric is someone I've actually flown with. He's awesome. He's a good person. And he was talking to me a little bit about his business. And I saw some people say they wanted to learn about what it takes to run a drone business. And so we bring you Eric. Jake also does it a little bit on the side, but he doesn't run a full incorporated.
Yeah, I'm nowhere near to this guy's level here.
So Eric, like, what got you into drones in the first place?
What got me into drones was a little $20 Chinese toy thing, whatever, one of those little quadcopters that self-leveled, and I don't know. It's just I found Banggood or GearBest, I think it was, and couldn't believe all this cheap crap, and thought, all right, I'm going to buy one of these little toys and see if it's any good. And it was like, I got it, and it didn't come with the remote. I didn't know what bind and fly meant. I didn't know what any of that crap meant. I didn't know what a 1S battery was. You know what I mean? Like, I didn't know any of this stuff. So I had to order extra batteries and had to get a remote for it and bind it. And then I sucked at it, and it scared the cats, and my hair got caught in the brush crops.
So instead of you hitting someone else, you hit yourself.
Oh yeah. I hit myself many times.
Oh, that's awesome.
And then
my little guy's always kept finding my daughter and wife's hair. So
yeah. And then it's just sitting there, and my business partner Mike came over one day, and he was like good at it right off the bat. He just picked it up and flew it, and it was like, oh yeah, this is cool. And so that made me like, oh, give me that, you motherfucker. Am I allowed to swear on this one?
You can swear. This show is not recommended for children. It is recommended for adults, and if they want to show their kids, that's on them.
Nice.
So whatever.
So
I want one of those mics.
Oh yeah.
I want one so bad.
It's not the mic that's really that big a deal. It's like all the crap you have to plug it into.
Yeah.
Pain in the ass. So,
yeah.
So he bought one, and then we just ended up with this arms race of toy drones for the next year, going back and forth. You know, I'd buy the next kind of better one that, you know, was a little bit bigger, but they were all crap. And then the next one had a camera on it, but of course it's all jello and nonsense and whatever. And somewhere along the line, I discovered, I don't know, some FPV videos. I was kind of aware in the background that it existed, but I discovered it, and then I saw like some of Mr. Steele's stuff, and I think I saw and then I saw Johnny FPV, and it just blew my mind. I was like, okay, I have to do that. So almost exactly 2 years ago, a little bit more, 2 years and a month, I got all-in-one 2.5 inch. It was the full speed leader 120, little 2S or 3S.
Nice
thing. And I got, like I kind of knew that I wanted decent stuff, like don't cheap out. But I was already into the pro drone work. And so I already had my Phantom 4 Pro, and I already, and so I bought the DJI goggles, the racing edition ones, because they'd hook up to my DJI drones as well. And they had the analog receiver in them.
How do you like those things?
It's a massive field of view. It's like sitting in a movie theater.
Mm-hmm.
And so that's how I learned to fly as well, with this massive field of view. The very first time I met Kat was the first time I ever looked through a pair of Fat Shark goggles, and I thought, what the hell? How do you fly through these little postage stamps?
And literally, we were laughing at him because he's sitting there, and his things are like out to here.
And he's got this thing
and it's
going
got
on.
like all kinds of straps up here, and we're like, what the hell are you wearing? Like, and we knew he had a company, and we're like, that's what you use as a pro? So yeah. That's funny. Yeah, that's a good point. I didn't even really think of that.
Yeah. But yeah, going back to between toy drones and FPV, I had, working in the audio world for the last 20 years, I knew people that were in the film and television business all the time. And so in film and TV, they I mean, everybody was jumping on the right around the Phantom 3 is when people really started jumping on it, and everybody had one. And the laws still really weren't known. Like, there's this misconception that there were no laws, and that's completely false. There really were laws about putting a drone in the air. They're much, much more restrictive than they are now, but nobody knew and nobody followed them. So, and nobody bothered to look.
And see, as I mentioned, I kind of mentioned Peter McKinnon earlier, and there was an episode on his YouTube, and I follow him like crazy. I love finding out how to do new things with cameras, videos, all that stuff. But he had one episode where he was talking about how insanely hard it is in Canada to actually get your drone up in the air when doing a shoot, because you have to have cones, you have to have, I mean, everything going on for you. And it's like a 40-minute process just to be able to fly your drone before you actually start flying. I mean, you even have to have access to traffic control. If I'm remembering correctly,
depends on the situation. Yeah, like I can get into some more specifics. Under the new regulations, you're allowed to fly over traffic. So, depending on the drone that you have.
Oh, I mean ATC, like traffic control. You have to have all that access, which is crazy. Here, as far as I know, I mean, in most cases, you don't need to have 50% of that. So
it's a little more streamlined in the U.S. I know that. In that, like, in most airspace, you can just do a quick in an app, and you're good to go as long as you've got your license. You put your registration number in, you're good to go. And that AirMap app, I think they've been trying to bring it in up here, and I hope it does come in. It is and it isn't as restrictive as you think. Now that the new laws are in place, it's a lot better than it used to be. There's still a lot of, like, if you want to fly in controlled airspace, you're going to need communication with Nav Canada, which is they're a private company, but they take care of controlled airspace in Canada.
What's the flying like for you right now? Like, I know where we live, all the parks, schoolyards, anything city or province or country owned has been shut down to access from the public, except we can go 45 minutes north to Aurelia and all their parks are open, and their mayor's actually encouraging everyone to go to the park. So what are you finding out your way? Like, are you guys able to find spots to fly that aren't closed, or have you been completely shut down?
Parks are, all the equipment's shut in parks, but they haven't shut parks. All the conservation area, which you're not supposed to fly drones in anyway, is shut down. So I don't know. Hamilton's tricky because it's all controlled airspace. You have to get outside the city, and there aren't a lot of spots that, I mean, there's a blanket rule, municipal rule, no drones in any of the parks. So the city could fine you. You're not breaking the law.
Law, yeah, just a bylaw.
But the bylaw that you're breaking.
Yeah.
So, going back to how I kind of got into it, and this will kind of get into the legal discussion as well. I bought a Phantom 4 Pro basically when it was announced, and thought, okay, this is great. I'll buy the top of the line drone and I'll get a ton of work right off the bat. I know all these filmmakers, they're gonna call me for work. My cousin's a filmmaker, he was flying drones already. And then I really looked into doing it legally, and then for every job, you needed what was called an SFOC, a Special Flight Operations Certificate, which took 30 days to get.
Oh, man.
And that's where you were talking about. You needed all the cones. You needed your safety plan. You needed your plan for absolutely every possible thing that could have gone wrong. And you need to tell them exactly how you're going to mitigate that risk. And that's what it was like. And then once you'd had 5 or 6 or 10 of those under your belt, you could apply for a standing SFOC, which allowed you to make the rules, and they'd give it to you for a year. So I went through that process, and but at the time there was no drone school, so I did the same flight school that pilots take. So whatever their beginner license course is, and then I just wrote sort of a drone exam at the end of it. And essentially it was just teaching you the laws, but at that time you had to learn everything. You had to learn everything about, like entering the pattern at an airport, which of course you would never be allowed to fly near.
Right, exactly.
Yeah.
So
there's a lot of things.
It's essentially a pilot license, just
Yep.
Yeah.
Yeah. And the current licensing system, I think the whole system is much better, but to get your advanced license, it's all that same knowledge. So you have to have all that meteorology knowledge. Like there's a section that trips people up all the time, which is human factors. You have to understand the psychology of what makes a safe operation, essentially.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
But there's a book to study, and and then I did my radio operator's license for airband radio, meaning I'm allowed to own one of those radios and monitor the frequencies, but at no point during an operation could I legally actually communicate with them unless it was an emergency. So, but like I had to get my license and I had to buy the stupid radio, but it is useful. And all of that aside, is safety is super important. And the reason I actually make really good money for all the jobs I do is because they're all really complicated airspace jobs. I'm doing jobs right in the middle of downtown of major cities with people everywhere. I have a regular job that's almost right off the runway of Billy Bishop Airport in downtown Toronto. And, I know the Nav Canada person so well that they're like, yeah, just check in again in 3 months.
Nice.
I know you're there.
Nice.
So
that's very cool.
Yeah. So it's at that point where I'm comfortable with it, but I don't mind taking 40 minutes before I get in the air because my clients are paying really good money.
Yeah.
I don't want to screw up at all.
Yeah.
Right. Like
part of
going through all your checklists isn't just because it's good to do. It's, like it really does make sure that you do your job safely. So
very true. No, that's awesome. It's tedious, but it's tedious for a reason, right?
Yeah.
So.
And that's just the flying part of the job, right? That's the part I thought was going to be super fun. And it is fun when I'm doing, I love doing inspections because it's getting the drone in a really tight space in a weird industrial atmosphere, and took a lot of paperwork just to get in there, and safety meetings, and I'm harnessed to something somewhere and we're flying down a pipe or something like that. That's all super cool. Right. But most of the day-to-day work is surveying and mapping, which I program the drone to fly a autonomous path grid, and 99.9% of the time I could completely ignore it and it would do everything just fine, come home and land within inches of where it took off.
Yeah, no, that's awesome. That's where technology is with this stuff, though.
Yeah.
So what kind of drone are you flying mainly for that kind of stuff?
The Phantom 4 Pro is sort of the real workhorse drone. Like there's a reason why DJI isn't bringing out a Phantom 5. They're reissuing. Yo, PJ. They're reissuing the Phantom 4 Pro again with just slightly different motors.
Oh, really?
Yep.
I haven't even paid attention, to be honest with you.
And well, it's because it's sort of the perfect drone. Like it's bigger than a Mavic, it's louder than a Mavic, but it handles the wind better. It has a better camera. Has a little bit more payload, so if you need to add a different antenna or if you have a parachute system or something like that, you're in the air for 30 minutes at a time.
Oh yeah. See, I have a Phantom 4. I got it super, super cheap. I didn't do a ton for it or anything like that. And that thing freaking flies for, I think the other day I flew it for 28 minutes straight and then landed. I was like, I was blown away by the
Yeah.
amount of time I could get, because I needed to get certain shots, and I was like, I kept getting to certain points where I wanted to get certain lighting, and then I'd have to adjust my camera and all that
Yep.
stuff. That's one thing I love about it, is I can adjust all those settings right from the screen right there.
Yep.
But it does take a couple minutes to actually, get the perfect settings for certain sequences and whatnot. So
Yeah. Oh, of course it does. And that's like, it would be, that's the thing, you've done shoots with the FPV with a GoPro, and you've got 2 minutes, and you come back and then you look at the footage or something, you're like, I need a different ND filter, or I need a different,
exactly.
You can't tell until you're done.
And then I've learned, if you neglect it though, like say you just think, okay, I've got things set up right from maybe the last shoot or something like that, and you're like, I'm just going to send it. Well, you come back and you're just blown out. The video is just horrible, stuff like that. So you always have to pay attention to stuff like that. So I get the paying attention to detail and all that stuff is crazy. So
anybody
Sorry, what would you say like the startup cost would be if someone was trying to get into it as a business?
It depends on what you want to do. Like I said, the flying is only a small part of it. It's your clients depend on your back end, what you're delivering to them. So for the surveying and the mapping, we then have to bring it back and process all those photos and do the photogrammetry work. And so, we have a Pix4D license, and so that was $7,000 or $8,000 or something like that.
See, that's a lot of stuff that I'd love to learn how to do.
Yeah, and yeah, you have to be kind of super nerdy and want to take it all on and learn stuff about GPS coordinate systems and translating between them and all kinds of stuff that I didn't think I would have to get into when getting into drone work.
Yeah.
But the kind of stuff that you're doing, the real estate photography and that kind of thing, it just didn't pay enough to make it worth going all in. Right?
Oh yeah, and I've noticed that like crazy too. So
the Tom John is another Canadian that I know does this for business, and he's just getting into the freestyle side. So that's just him weighing in.
Yeah,
that's smart. I like that.
Yeah, I have an app on my phone too that just does a light meter, and I don't know that it's a super accurate light meter, but once you learn what your phone is, it's accurate to it itself. So,
and then obviously every business you want to be profitable, but would you say that your initial startup of it you find is very non-profitable, and then now you're in the profitable range?
I don't know. Is that an iPhone?
Yeah,
he's an iPhone.
Yeah, I don't know. It just find a light meter app. I've got an Android phone, so yeah.
Everyone's Android but you, so don't shit.
I'm one of those people, I like to have control over my phone. Root access. If there's a soft program on it I don't want, fuck it. I can. I
used to be like that with all my Androids, and then I was like, you know what? I'm tired of messing with these things and making them work how I want them to work. So
yeah,
I conformed.
No, I can't stand ads. Ad blocking is like been a thing of mine since since ads became a thing.
Right. No, I get you.
Blocking. So yeah, I go a little overboard on it. I have a Raspberry Pi that creates a Pi hole in my network that all ads on. If you're connected to my network, you will not see an ad on your device. So
I may have to order something like that.
Yeah.
Are you concerned, Eric, with these new rules that they're proposing in the US at all? Like, do you think it's going to affect us in Canada and affect your ability to earn an income?
Not my ability to earn an income. What it's like, it's actually protecting the pro work even more in a lot of ways, because when you have to invest the money in one of these drones, and when you have to do all that paperwork, and like the kind of clients that I have need to see that as well. They need to see the insurance. They need to see that we're doing it. Doing it by the book. It's the danger is in destroying the hobby, right?
Yeah,
and that's what the danger in the U.S. is as well, in destroying the hobby. I think Canada's super slow at uptake on things like this. And I don't know what the reason for our government to change the laws in this particular way, that would get rid of the hobby world. We don't have the same people pushing for that airspace that in the same way.
Yeah, we have Amazon and Google that are pushing for it pretty hard and stuff like that. So
yeah. So I'm not sure how it, but I am like when the new laws were first proposed in Canada for our new system, it was really terrible as well at first. When they opened it up to the public for comment, I went to all the meetings and things, and they listened. They listened to the industry. They listened to industry concerns, but and hobbyists were there as well. Now, mostly just model aircraft hobbyists. I didn't see any FPV pilots during this time, but they expressed their concerns as well. And I think it was listened to. I think the system that we eventually ended up with is actually pretty good. The only real hole in it is that we can't have a homemade drone doing FPV, like action work near people yet. There's just no way to do it without somehow. I think if with GPS and with a whole bunch of other crap, we could maybe do it.
Yeah. What's your I gotta ask, what's your FPV rig?
This one here is iFlight Deadcat, the DC5 HD frame, because I have the whole DJI system in there. There's a Kakute F7 stack.
You just totally reminded me. I got my stuff back.
Lex sent you back your drone. Well, I guess you didn't send him a drone rig.
No, I sent him the whole entire thing. So, and I haven't even checked it.
So Eric,
unboxing here.
Just the back.
Yeah, right.
Eric, he sent his entire DJI build to a guy in the US that has been on our show before. A really good guy, just doesn't have the money to try the system.
Oh, yeah.
His uncle had it, so Jake sent him everything. I was like, try it and mail it back.
That's pretty nice.
Oh, there's me drone. She's in one piece. Thanks.
Well, I was at the stage where, I was about a year into the flying. I was starting to get good, and DJI had just announced it just as I was about to drop the money on everything else. I was like, I was looking at HDO2s and I was looking at, I had an X9D, but I didn't have Crossfire yet. So I was going to buy Crossfire. I was going to buy HDO2s. I was going to buy a rapid fire module. And then the DJI system was announced. And I'm like, I added up the price. I'm like, I don't know. It's the same price.
Look at Jake's like, my precious, I've missed you.
It's back. I'm so happy right now.
Anyone that has flown DJI, you'll get it. You'll understand.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
Well, and I mean, I totally get everybody's side of everything. It's if you've got a good analog system, it's actually pretty good. It doesn't have to be that clear. And no matter what, you can't deny that when you get behind something, there's a stutteriness that happens in the DJI system that doesn't happen in an analog system. You get the snow, but you don't get a sort of a stutter.
Did you unlock the 1200 milliwatt?
Yep.
And
you'll still get the stutter when you hit that moment.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
And so, I mean, I don't mind it at all. I can fly right through it. I never experienced good analog. Like the day that I met you, Kat, is the first day I experienced flying. Yep. Like I put on PJ's HDOs and was like, oh, okay. Yeah. Like it's a postage stamp size, but it's clear.
Right.
Well, and that was with my, whatever the hell they were called. I never remember, but like the original Fat Sharks I was using, right? I never had proper video. And it got to the point where I couldn't even fly like 500 meters without losing signal. Like my goggles were just dead. So for me, DJI made sense. And DJI, this is something I've had so many talks about recently. It is the only goggles setup, if you have to buy goggles, that can run HD and analog. So it gives you more option and you don't have to upgrade everything at once.
it's a nice pair of goggles. I don't know. I like it, and especially coming from the big, giant, immersive racing edition goggles. You know, this wasn't like the step down to postage stamps. So,
oh yeah, no, like her goggles. What do you have? The Attitudes?
Yeah, I think the V something. I bought them like used, and I just know they're one of the originals. And Rich
The
now modded.
screens are so small.
The screen wasn't that bad, but like Rich was able to like mesh two goggles together now to give himself some improved goggles.
That's a cool little scene there.
This is Bloor and Sherburne in Toronto about a month ago. This was just hitting record as I was flying up. It wasn't actually trying to shoot a video. It's funny. We were hired for this because this company is going to get us to do monitoring on several of their sites, but they want to show off that they're using drones. So I had 2 drones up for that gig. Just one taking pictures of the other one, pretending to take pictures of the web of the site. So because they just want all this material of a drone flying over one of their sites. But this is controlled airspace. There's tons of traffic. There's tons of people, and I had to get 2 pilots and 2 drones in the air. Took 10 minutes, and we could charge $1,500 for that because of all that paperwork. So,
no, that's awesome.
It's the kind of thing where the reason you want to do this isn't to do that easy job taking a few photos of a thing. Is you know, I don't take on that many jobs, but all the jobs I do are really, you know, difficult, complicated jobs until I've done them several times, you know. So this was the last real estate company I worked for. I did this video for them, but they had just bought up all this empty land that you can see. So they wanted me to show that off. All, you know, but amusing, just off that side of the screen is a prison. Like literally on the other side of that fence is a prison. And so that was all special permission to be able to fly there.
Oh yeah.
And all the DJI stuff, of course, locks down near prisons and near power plants and near airports. And so you have to get all your paperwork in check and then send it to DJI, and then they'll send you an unlock.
Oh yeah.
So that you can fly in these restricted spaces.
That's a lot of work.
It is definitely, until you know what you're doing.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like it's.
Now, how far in advance do you have to do that to be able to get that?
Now that I have a relationship with the authorities here in Canada, I can usually get permission to fly within about half an hour. Unless it's like in the middle of the night or something like that. And then I have to wait till somebody gets in the office.
Yeah.
But, you know, an example, a couple of weeks ago, like, well, I know, about a month ago, before all this, the last big news story in Canada was that there was this pipeline.
Yep, the protesters.
Yeah, and the Indigenous protesters that were blocking the railways. And so the protests started gaining steam, and people from other provinces started protesting as well. So they blocked the tracks here in Hamilton, and CH News wanted us to go in and get a shot of them. And I was able to get clearance to fly within 20 minutes. And it was really neat because I didn't, like, I filled out the form wrong, and then they called me and they're like, oh, we want to get this clearance to you right away. We just need to make sure that this is.
Oh, that's awesome.
Yeah.
That is very cool. Yeah. You got to have that kind of relationship with those guys to get that kind of treatment. I know here I used to, before Air Maps was a thing.
Right.
And now you have to use Air Maps or whatever they are talking about. And I mean, I have to schedule it the day before at minimal. Now, I used to be able to call up Dave up at ATC and be like, hey, I want to fly this such and such area. I mean, I've flown, you know, literally across the street before with clearance from the airport, but now I can't do anything like that. So it's different, and it's ever changing. I mean, there's always going to be something different popping up or whatnot. So
Yeah, I mean, everyone's got to remember in this drone thing, they all think that a drone is a quadcopter, but
Mhm.
when I have my advanced drone, RPAS is what it's called in Canada, RPAS, remotely piloted aircraft system, meaning I could fly a 25 kilogram fixed wing remote aircraft with this
Mhm.
license, and I need to know all of what it takes for that.
Hold on.
Even if I only ever intended to fly a
25 kilograms to pounds or whatever.
55 or whatever.
Oh, okay. Hey, I was just making sure. I didn't know.
2.2.
Yep. Okay.
Yeah. So it's funny. Yeah. The only people that know both are like drug dealers.
Right. Good call. That's funny.
So what's your favorite part of your job then?
I don't know. I like the fact that I get to do something weird and different all the time. 2 weeks ago, the last job I was doing was flying M210 with a thermal camera, trying to find a monkey that had gone missing from a primate sanctuary. So
that's awesome.
and then the week before that, I was flying inside a surge tank at a wastewater treatment plant, doing the inspection for the coating on the inside of the tank. They drain the tank, and then it's massive. It's like 100 feet tall and 30 feet wide. So
that's
crazy. I'll split the feet for you.
That's pretty damn cool. Not gonna lie.
Yeah. And so, you're always doing something different, and I think that's what it is. I can probably demonstrate a little bit of the back end stuff that we do on a survey. You can talk amongst yourselves for a second while I get it set up.
Sorry, I'm laughing at Tony calling Prince princess. So Prince and Death Roll and Eric all fly in the same area together. So there is some history there. So if they're picking on each other, don't worry.
Is Dave in here? Or?
I didn't see Dave. I saw a couple other people popping in though.
What do I have here?
Oh wow, my mouse just went over. Okay, I've never seen this before. You know how you can put your mouse over an item and it'll define it or something like that, or tell what it does? Well, if you put your mouse over the smiley face that you put on there, it says slightly smiling face.
What?
Yeah.
What smiley face? Oh, like the chat?
Yeah.
Yeah, you're right. That's what mine says too. Slightly smiling. It's okay. The Tom John posted hands, and it says it said to specifically wash your hands.
Oh,
hello.
Hi. That's that. That's not what we want.
And I got Inception going on here.
Yeah.
The Tom John.
Where's removed?
Describe your tweet, Eric.
Yeah, I definitely want to remove that. Here, no, let me get the other thing here. Window. Name it something stupid. Do this. Do this. Do that. There we go. So this is the kind of crap that I do on a regular basis.
You want to make his screen bigger?
I can try. It didn't work the other time I tried to do that. Let's see. Why are you not working? There we go.
Oh, that's cool.
Did that go? Here, I can probably make it. I might be making this bigger in a second. So do a whole series of photos over a place. And then it assembles them.
So it just took a ton of pictures there and put them into one?
Well, just going to see. I forget how many pictures this one used. Okay, so yeah, here's the photos. So however many photos that is, 336.
Oh, dang.
So 336 pictures. And you can see that each one of those represents a camera, right?
Oh, wow.
And then once it's done all its number crunching and processing, this is a point cloud, meaning I know the 3D coordinates of every point in here. And it's not, this isn't a 3D model. These are individual points. Here, I can. And you
Oh,
can
wow. That's
see,
some advanced stuff. That's for sure.
yeah, this is
Even
pretty
gets the
fancy computer
texture.
that it's running on as well. So we can give them the exact topography of the land. So if they're moving things around, this is all accurate to about 1 centimeter.
Damn. That's pretty awesome. What's it cost to run a program like that?
There's monthly of maybe around between $300 and $600 US a month, or you can. We have a permanent license which allows us to do a lot more with it, which was a lot more expensive.
Yeah, no, I bet.
There's a few different competing programs, but this one seems to be taking over as the industry standard.
Nice.
So. This was a relatively simple thing. They didn't need all this detail. This was a company that wanted us to basically just document. So I would go to the OrthoMosaic. They just wanted to know they were coming in to do some work on this site and didn't want the client to say, "Hey, you fucked up our parking lot." So it was us go in and document everything right down to the centimeter.
Yeah, that's very cool.
They can go back later and say,
no, we didn't fuck up.
yeah, we didn't do that. Sorry, it's taken some time to open the. But this is kind of the mapping side of things. Analyzing OrthoMosaic. Oh, come on.
As you can see, I'm fully engrossed in this because this is something I love to learn.
Yeah. So yeah, okay. So here's the resolution. We can get down to
the freaking cracks in the cement there.
Yeah, know what I mean. And we were flying at 400 feet here.
Dang.
So over this whole area. So you know what I mean. If you wanted to measure something, you could just easily right within here. There's tools to just measure an area or inspect an area. If we go back to this, I don't know, there aren't very many things on here. It looked like there was actually a pile of crap right around here. Just trying to make the points bigger again. Yeah, there was a pile of crap here, so I could do there, and then immediately compute the volume. There's exactly 3.7 cubic meters of material in that.
What?
In that, but you can see how useful that would be on a much bigger scale for a company that needed to know how many trucks they needed to remove. I've done volume calculations that came out into the millions of cubic meters of dirt that needed to be moved, but they didn't know that number.
Cool. That is stupid cool.
So you can see how that information can make, being able to get that kind of information that quickly, because I can come out there and I can cover 50 acres with the drone in a couple of hours and come home and have that to them by the next day. And so there's a steel factory in Hamilton here. And we give them volume calculations for their raw materials once a month.
That's awesome. That's ridiculous.
Yep. So I know it's super, super ridiculous that with that kind of data, with just from photos, you can do it. Now you have to learn a lot about how to get good data and how, what makes it right. You can't just go out there and just take pictures and hope it works.
Mm-hmm. No, absolutely.
And it's just you and your partner managing all of this?
Yep. Yeah. So far, we're at the stage where we get a lot of calls, and without this current situation that we're in, we would have been poised to probably have to hire pilots this year to help us out.
That's stinking cool, dude. That is really cool.
Yeah.
So Tom John had a question for you a while ago.
Okay.
Let me find it. He just wanted you to describe your professional fleet.
Oh, just all the drones that we use?
Yeah, in your professional fleet, he was saying.
I have two Phantom 4 Pros. One's just a backup for the other one. I just can't have it go wrong on site and not have a backup. I have a Mavic Enterprise with the zoom, and so it has all the attachments with lights and fanciness for that. So that's what we use for inspections. I've modified the remote on the Phantom so that it has an HDMI output, so it can go to an external screen for an inspector or something like that. And we just bought a Mavic Mini, which is what I flew inside the water tanks and stuff. Because there's just times when it's small and
it's too small.
Yeah. Oh, I know it's a really capable drone that you could go wrong with pretty quick, because it gives you almost that sense of confidence you have with a Mavic or a Phantom. Like, it has really good position hold. It has really good GPS in it. It does some really neat things, but then when it doesn't, it doesn't. And when it gets taken in the wind, you're just you're flying a toy again. And so if you can't fly line of sight, if that, because it's just a Wi-Fi connection with the screen, if that goes down, you're screwed. So, like I'm perfectly comfortable flying line of sight. I'm perfectly comfortable flying without telemetry. I've had everything go wrong, actually. I think at some point, I've had the compass.
You'll say that, and then all of a sudden something new will pop up too.
Yeah, so. Yeah. But I've gone for, like, I use autopilot software a lot, even for doing cinematic shots. So I'll do keyframes, and then get it to go between the keyframes, and you can do them over and over and over again at different times. Mm-hmm. And so I'll program these shots in and then tweak them after they've gone. And then I've done a whole bunch in a row. I was shooting a golf course one time, and then got too close to the power lines, and the compass freaked out, and it just started flying randomly off in a different direction. And
then
those are moments where you're like, oh shit. Gotta know what you're doing.
I luckily haven't had a fly off with like a DJI or anything like that just yet. I'll say yet, just to cover my ass there. But I don't know what I would do if that happened, because those things can, like I was saying, 28 minutes earlier.
Yep.
And that could disappear. I would never see that fucker again. You know what I mean?
Tom John wants to know what your suggestions are on automated software.
For iOS only, there's a software called Autopilot. Mm-hmm. If you are Android or iOS, the Litchi is apparently really good again. Now, I tried them both 2.5 years ago, and I liked Autopilot better. But every time I mention that, everybody's like, oh, Litchi, or whatever it's called, that's the one. So I don't know. I haven't used it in a while. Those Inception kind of shots that you can get with a drone? Mm-hmm. There's software that'll take the photos the way it needs to be taken, and it's just called Droneception.
Oh, nice.
Yeah.
Clever.
So I like that. For all the mapping, I use Ground Station Pro, which is DJI software. Sometimes I use Pix4D's software. That's free if you just want to get to fly grids for whatever reason. Drone Deploy also has free software for flying grids. Mm-hmm. you need to start with doing some small things and learning to trust your drone, learning to trust your programming skills, and then learning to trust your drone to do it, and learn where it goes weird and where it goes wrong and how to take control again if you need to. But we've done things like for a construction site where we're going back every couple of weeks to do update photos. I'll program a flight around the construction site, and I'll run that flight every single time I go. And then later on, I stitch that together into a time lapse. Right. And so it has this really cool of the whole building being created. But because the drone flew the same path every single time, I can do, you know, as long as you shoot in 4K and punch in a bit, you can adjust for the slight variance and make it look seamless, like it was all just one shot.
And you use like autopilot for that kind of thing, or?
Yeah, autopilot or Litchi are the ones that will allow you to do automated shots with your equipment.
Okay.
So
no, that's awesome. That's good to know for me too, because like I've been manually piloting everything, and of course FPV and line of sight flying has definitely helped me. But I mean, to be able to just click a few things and say go and just watch it go, why wouldn't you? Why wouldn't you? You know,
the time lapse stuff is amazing. Like I do things like I'll program a point to point where it'll have a focus point as well. So it will adjust the camera the whole time, and I'll tell it to move at like 0.5 kilometers an hour and super slow, but take a photo every 5 seconds, and then just stitch it together into this amazing time lapse later because of the, you know, it's done this move the whole time. It's like being able to do time lapse on rails or whatever, or, you know, with a camera rig. So like I don't know if you want to have a look at my my recording studio's YouTube channel.
I actually asked if you had a link for it. There's a private chat on this StreamYard here.
Yeah.
If you want to put that up.
Yeah, I'll do that. You can search Hive Studios.
Hive?
On YouTube, yeah. Hive Studios, Canada.
87 videos.
Should be something like that.
Hey, Flying Brian.
So one of the time lapse I did with the Mavic Mini in Mexico is like 4 videos ago, 3 months ago. The space elevator. You can throw that up. So this is a friend of mine that just started FPV now. He invented this technique. It's all manual. So that's like putting your thumb on the stick and holding it there very, very, very slowly. Like it took 20 minutes to ascend.
That's impressive.
And that's just with cool. The Mavic Mini.
That's just with a Mavic Mini?
Yeah.
Okay. I'm kind of convinced I need to get a Mavic Mini now.
They're actually kind of like too good for, you know, it's a flying cell phone. Like I'm not going to say that the camera's great. So
no, that's pretty dope.
If anybody wants to go back, if you go back 2 years, I started all gung ho making like vlog stuff, and then I just started posting flights after a while.
Oh yeah, I see that. I was actually going to check out. I saw. Where'd it go?
Lots of guitar solos too, if you want to learn.
I saw that. And here's some FPV stuff here.
Oh yeah, which one was this?
It's your most recent one. You spin me right round.
Right. Yeah, because I just clip a branch at this, and it's the craziest spin I've ever gotten into. So it's like only about 1.5 minutes long.
That's all right. That's all right. Most of the best stuff happens within the first minute or so on a flight. And then you just got to try to keep topping yourself.
Yeah, I went to this place today, and they hadn't closed the gate yet, and then they did while I was in.
Oh no!
Here.
Whoa! Is it gonna stop?
Well, it stopped when it hit the ground.
It's like being on a tilt-a-whirl.
Yeah, and then I was just able to just take off again.
Yeah, you're like, we're good.
That was a quick one too. Like you just dropped, and then you were like, okay, let's go again.
Yeah. I was like, hey, I'm level.
Where did it go? I was just this one here. That looks like a pretty cool place here.
Yeah, the Museum of Steam and Technology in Hamilton. And there's this whole train track out behind. PJ's got some good videos of diving that chimney. This was just the weekend before I went up north to do my one and only pro shoot following skiers.
Mm-hmm.
And so I couldn't break the drone. So I had to just I had to fly super conservative here. It was super windy. I couldn't get near the stack.
See, I'm horrible. I've got so many drones. Yeah. Usually when I go to do something like that, I'll bring 5 drones with me. It's ridiculous.
Yeah, I'm not there yet. I don't even have a backup. I've got this. I've got a Cinewhoop. I've got a good 5-inch that's totally analog.
Mm-hmm.
But it's no fun to fly anymore. And I'd like to not break it and just sell it as one.
Yeah.
One drone. So. Wow, that's some pretty terrible compression coming through.
Let's see if is it on me?
Oh, I don't know. It's just terrible on.
It could just be the lag. It's like a bit snowy.
Oh, I guess yeah. It looks a little bit better on the thing.
No, that's
so Eric.
Ooh, that was a close
what
call.
advice would you give to someone who was looking to start a company doing this?
Well, the same sort of thing I give to because I started the recording studio in 2005. I've never done the thing where you go out and get a job. I don't know, not since I was a teenager have I done that. It's just go out and make get a client and get somebody to pay you for doing the things you love doing. That's been my philosophy. So but it helps to have a business partner who's super organized. So I'm kind of I'm the nerd. I'm the guy that's really obsessive. I'll figure out whatever problem it is until it's solved. And Mike's the guy that's going to chase the client down for money, and he's going to answer every single email, and he's going to make sure that no matter what, there's food on the table next month.
See, that's I'd be you in that scenario too. I'm not organized with anything. Kat can vouch. I'm almost late for everything, and I'll just be like, I'm here. Let's do this.
Yeah.
But it works because I'm OCD about certain things. So then that's why our show works with us. I think is he kind of makes me calm down, and I make him pay attention to shit he needs to.
Right.
So
sometimes I just got to be like, shut up. No, I'm just kidding. I'm just kidding.
Yeah. No, all good business partnerships are like that. See, where's
that's beautiful? Where's that?
Not Ontario.
No, this isn't my shot. This is a friend of mine's shot from BC. But I thought it would make a cool background.
Yeah, that's beautiful.
It doesn't take much to get these out there. Right? You just fly your drone, point it anywhere.
Right. See, I'm gonna be hitting this place we call it's called the Beartooth Pass here, and I'm hoping to get some footage like that. Mm-hmm. I did some dives and stuff like that last year before or after all the snow had melted and all that. Mm-hmm. But I'm hoping this year to go get the 12-foot walls of snow that are surrounding the highway and all that stuff. So.
Yeah. Oh yeah. That. I guess not now. Next year.
No, it'll be June before I'm able to get May.
Okay.
at the earliest when I'll be able to get this footage.
Yeah.
Like later on. Yeah. It's crazy. We'll still have 12-foot walls of snow.
Oh, yeah.
So
That'll be cool.
but that's just great. I love the rocks. I love the snow going between the rocks, the crevices and everything. And it's amazing these cameras, what they can capture now.
Oh yeah. Yeah. Like, I mean, the new Inspire that's supposedly coming out this summer is going to be pretty amazing.
Mm-hmm.
Like, you'll be shooting 8K raw with it.
8K is just insane though. That's just nuts.
Yeah, you got to have a pretty fancy computer on the back end to.
Yeah, like mine does 4K all right until I start speeding stuff up or even reversing video starts to cut out on me a little bit in 4K.
Yeah.
But yeah, that's nuts.
Yeah. I do like. I haven't done a whole lot of just film work. There's a TV show, like one of the big networks up here is Bell, and their streaming side, so just on the Bell streaming network.
Mm-hmm.
There's this TV show called Corkscrewed. I did all the drone work for that and did all the audio for that as well. Like that was one of those things where it was both departments on that shoot.
Yeah. So what is the other side of the business that you do? You have the drone stuff, and then you have.
I have a recording studio. We do location audio as well for film and television, but we have a recording studio. Started making music 2005, mostly recording artists and bands and things, and probably in the last 7 years has been mostly corporate stuff. The music I do is like I work with songwriters just producing.
Nice.
So I less about like a band that has a song together and recording them, more writing with people and producing music that way, and then doing music for like film and television as well, like background music.
So you're all around with this stuff. It's pretty crazy. Anything production wise, you've kind of got your fingers in it. That's awesome.
It's creativity and making every day different from the day before. I can see the question there. The M series is something that we don't own. We rent it when we need it, and that's the great thing about the new laws is you can rent a drone, just charge it to the client, so I don't have to own the $25,000 M210 with all the attachments and things.
Right.
It's $600 for the day, and you're just flying it. So as for doing cinematic stuff with it, sure, it's super, super stable. Like it's just overkill. Right? Like it has there's one camera that you can get for it that has like a 30 times zoom, optical zoom.
Oh, that's nuts.
It'd still be stable.
That's ridiculous. That lens would have to weigh at least 6 pounds, 7 pounds.
They're big. It's a big camera, but really it's the gimbal that gets me, because even like we have the Mavic Zoom, when you're zoomed in, it's really hard to stay stable. I think that scoring jobs really is the Phantom 4 Pro. It really is the workhouse drone. You can do, it has a Sony 1-inch sensor on it with a mechanical shutter, so you can do really nice cinematic stuff with it, and you can do all the surveying and mapping work with it because of that camera is excellent and it has all that all the autonomous stuff built in. You can do it with a Mavic 2 Pro, but it's not as good a camera, and it's a lighter drone, so it gets blown around in the wind a little bit. So the Phantom 4 Pro is still the one that does it. If you have a huge budget, then sure, buy the M210 and the attachments, and great, you'll get all the. But
you're looking at $20,000. I think here for a good setup with the 210, 210 is what it is, right? Mitri's 210.
Yeah,
I think just the drone itself was 15.
Yeah, it's around 14 or 15, and that's what.
And then
each set of batteries is You know, like it flies with 4 batteries.
It's ridiculous expensive.
Yep.
So, I mean, I flew a. What's the next step up?
Inspire.
No, from the M series. In the M series.
Oh, the M1000 is the really
that one's the Octa one, right?
Yeah, I think so.
Actually, a neighbor of mine who does, cell phone towers, stuff like that. He wanted to show it off one day, and I mean, we had to drive his truck over, and this box was the size of my desk, and pulling that thing out. I mean, flipping it up. It took 20 minutes just to be able to load the 12 batteries into it. Yeah. Or I think it's 12 batteries. If I'm not mistaken.
So, or 8 at least.
It was a ridiculous amount, but the thing was solid scary. Like that thing could cut your head off.
Yeah. Oh yeah. Yeah. And when they take off, it's like real scary sounding.
Oh yeah. It sounds like a jet is going, and it's just it's huge.
Yeah.
That one, I think he paid, if I remember him talking right, it was like 25 just for the drone itself or something like that, 25 or 30 or something. And, getting the second or third set of batteries cost him another like $5,000 or something like that. It was wow.
If it's old enough, like if it's one of the 2014, 2015 ones, the batteries just didn't last. You get about a year out of them. And then that's it. You'd be replacing those batteries.
Yeah.
As well. So coming in when I did was like the perfect balance between the technology had hit a point where there's really good stuff for a decent price, and also before the industry took off. So we were still positioned ourselves pretty front of the industry, like we're one of the older companies. Scoring jobs. Now that's a little bit of a different thing. You either gotta, it's either who you know or who you blow, right? Oh, sorry, that's the music industry. Oh wait, that's everything.
Yeah, that's everything, man.
Yeah. We bought out another company that was doing the survey work.
Mm-hmm.
And in the process, they taught us how to do it. And we bought their client list and just started cold calling them.
Oh, that's awesome.
The next thing you do is you have a name like Drone Services Canada. And every time a new potential client calls you, you say, "How did you find us?" And they say, "Well, we were Googling drone services in Canada." For some reason.
The name is super important for any business.
Oh yeah.
When we very first started, like this, the recording studio is called Hive Studios, right, as the YouTube channel was.
Mm-hmm.
And so the drone company was called Drone Bees. And just to keep with the Hive theme, and we kept with the bee kind of theme going on, and it worked. But as soon as we started doing the surveying and mapping work and we switched the name, it just, like I wouldn't want to be driving the truck onto one of these construction sites with drone bees on the side, like I like having just this real plain looking, like it looks like you're supposed to be there.
You're right.
So
I'm gonna take one down for the books here, because Big Sky FPV doesn't really help a ton.
Yeah.
If you made it like Drone Services America, you'd probably get a shitload of hits.
I can't do that.
That's probably already done though. Like we bought a ton of other URLs as well. Like we own, Drone Survey Canada and Drone Services in Canada and Drone Survey Ontario. So getting your Google positioning is important as well, because in this kind of industry, the people that you're going to be working for, there's an old guard. There's old guys that don't care. They're going to retire in a couple of years. They want to do things the old way. They don't want new stuff. They don't, or they just don't know.
Yeah.
But there's always this like younger, hungry manager,
entrepreneur types and everything.
Techie kind of guy in the company that wants to pull the drones in.
Mm-hmm.
So that's the person you got to find. So
I just Googled drone service Montana, services Montana, and there is a Montana drone service.
Right.
See if they still exist, and if not, you might be able to buy them in their client list.
Yeah, you never know. Like the company we bought out,
the Flying Brian thinks he's like dibs on Drone Service America.
I'm gonna go buy that right meow. No.
The company we bought out was called Enaria, Enaeria, and I guess it's a name, but
I would never have even thought of something like that. That's different.
Yeah,
So.
I don't know. Like it just doesn't scream drone.
Right? No, not at all.
Right? Even Drone Bees at least was drone.
Something,
Yeah.
See, I'm stupid. I did FPV, but Big Sky is a heavily searched thing here in Montana because Big Sky is a thing. Because we have Big Sky Resort, we have Big Sky Lodge, we have all that stuff. So it kind of
change it then to Big Sky Drone Services or Big Sky Drones or something.
Well, I've already bought the name, so I'm kind of like, I don't know what I should.
But you want to have multiple names, like Eric said, because then if someone else tries to stomp you with their name, they can't.
That's true.
Yeah, don't like it's. I mean, at least here to register a business name is really cheap. It's like $60. So
yeah, it was only 25 here, so I think I'll do that.
Yeah, and I mean just buying the URL is super cheap. It's like $5.
He's like, I gotta go do it right meow.
Right.
That's all right. Anyway, we're gonna wrap up for this week's episode, I think, of the Quad Chat, unless you have any last things you want to add, Eric.
Oh no, I just wanted to keep talking for the next 2 hours.
Dude, I gotta say thank you as well. It's been very informative to me. Hopefully it's been crazy informative to these guys as well. But yeah, it's
go check out the channel there, and you can see some of the FPV stuff that we do. Drone Services Canada Inc.com is the website if you're looking for boring information about mapping. But the YouTube channel is a little bit more fun. Anybody that has their advanced pilot license in Canada and wants to get in touch with me, I might have work. I'm not holding their hands to get their advanced license because it's not a low bar. But if you've gotten past that hurdle, then and just don't have work, then I can probably find work for you.
If you guys have trouble finding Eric, to hit us up, and we can put you in touch with Eric also. But like you said, make sure you have that requirement, or else he's not going to waste his time. Thank you for joining us, Eric. Next week, we have a special birthday edition of the show. I'm just waiting on them to confirm they're coming before we announce who it is. So you're going to have to stay tuned, check out our Facebook page to see who it is. But it's someone big, and I think everyone's going to be very excited. So stay tuned.
Like physically
big. Physically small, actually.
He's pretty well known, that's for sure.
Yeah, but
as well known as me.
I don't know. This guy's got quite a following. Oh, Eric wants one more, or sorry, Tom John has one more question. Look at his sad face. Any first steps towards the advanced license?
Yeah, just take the course. Find a place that does it. It's not worth finding the information on your own. At least for me, like I'd rather sit down in a class, pay the $300 or whatever it is, and then just get it. Like honestly, your first gig will pay for it. Your first real pro gig will pay for all of that stuff. I set my pilot day rate at $2,000. I'll bring a drone out and do your thing for $2,000. So,
does that go for realty and stuff like that too?
Yeah, and that keeps all the realtors away.
Good call.
Right?
Good call.
And when you say that when you say that kind of thing, but it also means that if I do realty, it's like the video I was playing earlier. It's for a huge area for millions and millions of dollars. Like it's one of those things where it's worth it for them to pay you a couple grand.
Yeah. So your price reflects the clientele, I guess. So.
It's the type of clientele. It's that I'm definitely going to do all my paperwork, have all the stuff there, have all the insurance in place. I'm going to show you every step of the way, and also, that comes into if weather fucks it up or whatever, I'm going to come back and redo it. Like the price is there because the job's going to get done.
Yeah.
We're not, and you're going to have no surprises down the road or anything like that.
Mm-hmm.
And it seems to work for me.
No, that's awesome.
So
well, thank you again, Eric, for coming. Everyone, wash your hands and stay healthy. And otherwise, we'll catch you next week. Have a good one, everyone.
See you guys.
Okay, ciao.